Welcome to another episode of Management Muse. I'm your host, Cindy Baldy, and this is my husband and co-host, Jeffrey Tumlin.
Yellow! Welcome to the podcast where we try to inspire better work performance. Thanks for listening.
Hello, Musers. Today is a cute little mini episode. This is an outtake from our transition episode with Nate Self, one of the founders of the Praevius Group. This happens to be one of my favorite stories about his youngest child, of which there are many good stories. This one speaks to my entrepreneurial spirit, but it is also a good one from the standpoint of the many roles we wear as adults. Here is Nate Self in a story about the Tooth Fairy.
We continue to have children. It's unbelievable joy. And we have 4 kids now. And I remember when my youngest kid was about tooth losing age, he was losing teeth rapidly. And I was away on travel for a week. I wasn't that far away. I was a couple hours away. But overnight. I was spending the night overnight. And I think Griffin is our youngest son's name. I don't think that. But his name is Griffin. And I think Griffin had lost a tooth on the weekend.
Yeah.
And then by like Monday afternoon, Monday evening, my wife texted me and said, "Hey, Griffin lost another tooth." Like, wow, 2 in 1 week. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And then by Wednesday night, she texted me and says, he lost a 3rd tooth.
Oh.
And ... on the text. I think he's pulling his teeth for money.
Oh, man.
Because the Tooth Fairy
Sure.
brings money for teeth. And
Kids
so,
willing to have some pain.
yeah. So I'm like, you might be right about that. But then again, let's not accuse him of hurting himself for cash. So she's like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, this probably is a conversation we need to have, and I'd like to be there for it. So can you wait and just tell him that the Tooth Fairy's busy and he might be disappointed for a couple days, but I'll be home tomorrow night or whatever." So he has 3 teeth now missing from his mouth that he's holding and putting under his pillow every night. Tooth Fairy's not coming. So I got home like a Thursday evening. And the first thing he says to me when he sees me is, "Hey, Daddy, I lost 3 teeth this week." And I'm like, "Yeah, I heard." He said, "That's $30.
Whoa, big boy.
And I'm like, "Wow, man, $30. He goes, "Yeah, that's $10 a tooth."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Okay, good job. You're learning something in math.
There
You
you
can
go.
do the
Yeah,
multiplication."
yeah.
He said, "Can you text the Tooth Fairy and see if Tooth Fairy will come tonight?" I'm not going to argue. Plus, I've been out of town for a week. So I'm not going to argue. I'm like, you know what? Just get a Ziploc bag. Make it easier for the Tooth Fairy. I'll text Tooth Fairy and make sure the Tooth Fairy comes tonight. And he's excited. So the bag goes under the pillow. I have to go to the ATM because I don't carry cash. No one does anymore. So I go to the ATM. I get $40 out because it comes out in 20s.
Sure.
Then I go over to the gas station and I break a 20
Man.
and get to 10. I mean,
You got a lot
it's
going
hard
on here,
work, right?
Mr. Tooth Fairy.
That's right. So then I go back home and I'm going to put the $30 under his pillow and I go to his room and it's like a minefield of Legos all over the floor. But it's okay because, you know, we've been trained to be in minefields before and I've actually been in a minefield before. So I don't know which one's harder.
Well, so it turns out some things are transferable.
Yeah, some skills transfer.
Yeah.
So you got the Lego minefield. I got to negotiate that. There's an older brother sleeping on the top bunk. I think he's out. It's fine. I reach under the pillow, get the teeth out, make the exchange, come downstairs, no problem. Go to sleep. Next morning, my wife and I are both up before the kids and putting stuff together, lunches and all that. And she says, "Hey, by the way, I took care of the Tooth Fairy last night." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh.
She goes, "Yeah, I put $20 under his pillow." And I'm like, "No." I said, "This is not good." She goes, "What?" I said, "I put $30 under his pillow last night." We're both like, "He's got $50 under his pillow."
Yeah.
So we're just imagining this little boy coming down the stairs with no teeth in his mouth and trying to eat Captain Crunch with nothing but gums, right? I've seen my grandpa do that. It's not pretty. So I'm like, "Hey, we got to get that money out of there." So I go back upstairs. I extract the extra $20, undetected again.
Yeah.
So, you know, I still got some
Stealthy
skills.
smooth, baby.
That's right. So you fast forward to the afternoon. I take him to basketball practice because I'm his coach of his little guy's team. And then we drive from basketball practice just down the road to the dry cleaners, which is just a little house by the street. So you can drive right up to the door. You can leave your 8-year-old in the car.
Meaning you did leave your 8-year-old.
Yeah. I said, "Hey, I'm going to be gone for 22 seconds. Don't touch anything." So I go into the cleaner. I come back out, and I go to put my seatbelt on, And he's like, hey, Daddy, what's this? And I turn around, and he's got a Ziploc bag with 3 teeth in it held up in my face. I had forgotten that I put the teeth in the console of my car. I've got some hoarder tendencies. I think kids someday might want their hair, their teeth, you know. You want to frame on a shadow box on the wall or something. So anyway, I'm stuck because he's got evidence, and he's, what is this?
Right.
Well, the tooth fairy's a lie.
Right.
Just like Santa Claus, Cupid, leprechauns, they're all lies. I mean, because parents, they lie to their kids. Also, kids lie to them. Like first 13 years, parents lie to their kids. Then it switches, and the kids lie to the parents for the next 13 years. And then you call it even about 26, you have a stable relationship. So that's just kind of the way it goes. But it's too early. He's not 13 yet. I've got to keep these lines going. It's more fun for us. We get to eat the candy. We get to play with the toys. Like, he's our youngest. So if the tooth fairy's not real anymore, all the fun is out of the house. So I'm like, I don't know what to say here. He's like, Daddy, these are my teeth. I'm thinking, is he on to me? But is it my face? Is he reading this? I just froze up. I'm like, no, Griffin, those are my teeth. Because these are way too small to be your teeth, Daddy.
My man is in deep.
I'm like, no, the ones in the back, I grind them down at night. Mommy's mad at me all the time. Sometimes I have to pull them out to keep her from staying awake all night. He's like, these are too big to be your teeth, Daddy. These are my teeth. He goes, you're telling me the truth. Did you know how you tell us to always tell the truth?
Oh, man. Putting back on you.
Yeah, he's using my honor against me. He already knows. I came from a place that had honor code at school. So I'm just thinking to myself, he probably knows. Someone probably told him. And now he's just trying to figure out how big of a chump is my dad.
Right.
And so I just decided that I was going to tell him. I was like, yeah, Griffin, I'm the tooth fairy. He's like, I knew it. I knew you were the tooth fairy. Yeah. He goes, I have one more question.
Oh, here you go.
And I'm thinking, Santa Claus is going down.
House of
the
cards,
whole thing's coming
cards.
Tumbling down. Dominoes are falling. He says, how do you get from house to house? Every night.
My man.
How do you make it all the way? I'm like, I'm still the tooth fairy, man.
Awesome.
And I said, hey, Griffin, I can't give away my secrets. Just don't tell anybody I'm the tooth fairy.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if he was really serious with me there, but we kept it alive. But in that moment between coming clean and then him actually believing I was a tooth fairy, I felt a piece of me was gone. Like that role was being ripped away from me. And it felt really sad. But then as I contemplated, thought about it, reflected on it later that night, I was like, you know what? My daughter, when I got home, needed help with something in junior high. And then I had a son in high school that needed help with something. It was different than my daughter. It was different than the younger one. And then I have a son who's getting ready to go to college, and he's talking about applications and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of sat back and I was like, you know what? This role of being a dad is pretty robust. So even if I lose tooth fairy, there's plenty to go around. Plenty of me that they need. And that just reminded me that, you know what? I'm there.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to learn more about the topic, check out our show notes. And if you want to help us out, like, share, subscribe, and 5 stars are all deeply appreciated. See you next time on the Management Muse.